Good evening. Good evening, good evening. I am still Blue Mooning, fantasy writer and shy magical library in human skin. Hello Ashley, hello, it's lovely to see you, lovely to see everyone. I'm hoping so much you can actually hear me and the music, because on my tester stream, which I keep going on my phone beside me, I was not getting any volume, but my phone sometimes does that. So please let me know if you can hear me, which, hopefully if you don't hear me, you would be letting me know anyway, because you would not be able to hear what I am saying. Oh dear, I should probably be careful about not getting too loud again tonight in any case. I've got the door cracked, just in case, so we can all... Oh, I can hear the small one. I hope you don't hear when the small one cries. That wouldn't be fun. Oh dear, this story has been weighing on my mind. Oh, let's turn this down. Yes, this story has been weighing on my mind, just the fact that it is not done yet. And I'm pretty sure after only 2 streams I've only gotten about halfway through fixing it up, so I'm not expecting to finish it tonight. All out and clear for me. Thank you for letting me know. It is very helpful. Thank you. But yes, not expecting to finish this tonight, but even if I don't, I shan't bother you with it again until it's ready to post a video, as in an audiobook style video. I will work on it myself if I don't finish it tonight, and get it done eventually. Before Blue's existence ends, she will defeat the pitchfork story. Oh, and I think I picked this one from all my old works, my collection of old blog works, because I thought it might be, a little easier than some of the other ones. So if this one is the easiest of the bunch, oh, it's going to be fun attacking the rest, isn't it? Yo Moon, hello Neko Heiko, lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. I am just rambling, pre-writing, as Blue is wont to do. Moon sounds like she'd be a great jazz singer. I do like singing in that style a little. Oh wait, it's a joke. But I do like singing in that style a little bit. I remember someone telling me once, I think I was doing a sort of a classical solo during a choir piece, and someone said I sort of did it with a slightly pop jazz style, and I liked that. It pleased me. You like jazz? Indeed. Oh, you've made me giggle now. Much giggle. Dearie me. Yes, and also my mind has, despite this story being on my mind, just the idea of the story and the anxiety attached to it has been on my mind. The actual story writing component less so, because I have actually been working on my main magical project. Nothing new written, of course, just editing still, but I went back to the beginning. I've been over part 1. There's 8 or 9 parts in total. And yes, part 1 is the shortest and the one I have revised the most, but I have re-revised it, so hopefully it is ready for some beta reading at one point very soon. Oh, she understood the reference. She's not that old. Oh, it's a war story. It's set during a war, yes. Diversification. So see. Yeah, I have arrived. Hello, Mickey. Hello. I'm still rambling. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything of great importance from Blue. Not that Blue really comes out with anything of great importance, so I suppose everyone wins. Oh, dear me. But yes, my mind is more on the main magical project at the moment. And yeah, I'm hoping because part 2 is also fairly well revised over the years, that it wouldn't take me too long to re-revise it, however many times I have revised it. Oh, goodness me. How long have I been working on this story? It's got to be almost 6 years now. And this is just book one. I'm so very much hoping that the rest of them come out a lot easier. That's okay. I watch the streams for you anyways. It's okay if you ramble. You are most kind. Thank you. I am glad that you get something enjoyable out of Blue's ramblings. Oh, dearie me. But yes, there's just a something new that will come in near the end of part 2, and possibly it'll add a whole new chapter, and then will lead to well, not a lot maybe, but a fair bit of part 3 needing to be rearranged and slightly rewritten, because I oh, lovely like, thank you so much, because I went into there's something I should have gone into far much more. Something I should have gone into more detail in far earlier in the story. Because, yeah, it makes much more sense it popping up earlier. And that sort of clears some space later on, because I'm trying to cram too much stuff later on. And so if we shift it to the beginning, we're just dealing with sort of one thing at a time. So even though we're adding stuff earlier on and, you know, need to do the rearranging work there, we will be cutting a little bit later on, and making some of that stuff flow a bit more easily. You know, I may have to cut a few things that I reasonably like, but I've started a special section in the OneNote folder, which I just keep throwing all of this story stuff in. I really need to rearrange and organize my OneNote stuff at one point. I don't think it'll ever happen, but, you know, I'll keep saying I need to do it because I do. But I'm making a section of, you know, offcuts that I really like, that maybe I will start sharing now and then once the stories are out. So that might be fun. That might be fun. Oh, I did also mean today to put together my schedule for next week, which I may have to sort of rename it from schedule to Blue's upcoming stream, because, you know, just once a week doesn't really warrant a schedule as such, does it? Just an alert, maybe. Oh, almost forgot. Happy Poetry Day to the gathered poets. I did not know it was Poetry Day. Happy Poetry Day to all of the beautiful poets here and everywhere. Oh, poetry is a serious thing, isn't it? Blue. Last year, Blue did try her hand at some random freeform poetry. I'll try to think to dig it out at one point. It's not very good, but, you know, I think it was a useful exercise writing it. And I still remember enjoying doing sort of freeform poetry in elementary school. I liked doing it. Yeah. But poetry. For some reason I think it would take me even longer to write a good poem than it is to write a good novel, and I am currently 6 years into this current. I am currently 6 years into my main magical project. See, Blues gets frustrated with herself even when she uses the same word in the same sentence while speaking, let alone when writing. Oh, I ran into a bit of that editing my main magical project today. Just, you know, silly typo-y mistakes that had me wondering whether it was actually the most recent copy I was working off, and it has to be. There is no way it could not be the most recent copy that I'm working off. But just such silly things that I'm sure I would have caught. And I'm sure I'd actually listened, because I use text-to-speech to listen through everything I've written. And then, you know, I use ProWritingAid, and I'm sure I'd used ProWritingAid and listened through on this one before, but there was still, you know, I'd shifted the sentence around, but I'd left the original thing there too, so I sort of had the same phrase twice in the one sentence. So I don't know how I missed that. But at least it's caught now. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'm just not sophisticated, but there's only ever been a couple of poems that actually resonated with me, not that I've read a lot. Yes, poetry isn't generally something I go out of my way to read, I generally only read a poem if the mother library or father library or someone recommends it to me, because they tend to come across them more frequently than me, and they are probably, as you say, far more sophisticated than Blue is. But there is one poet that usually comes to mind if I'm trying to think of poets to recommend to anyone. Pitchforks, am I right? Hiya. Hello, hello, Yozorani. So lovely to see you. Yes, we're back on the Pitchfork story. Oh, and do want to thank you again for that beautiful, beautiful art. I did like it, but I have not retweeted yet because, yes, the Expert app is a strange form of purgatory, so I try not to go on there too much. But I will actually retweet it at one point soon. I will. Thank you so much. I love it. Yes, you are very welcome to use Blue as a study model whenever you like. Oh, by the way, everyone, Yozorani, they do the beautiful art that I use for my schedules. So a while ago now, I won one of your art competitions, and you did that gorgeous art for me, and it made me so happy. And I do love using it for the schedules. I do. It works so well. It's just nice, quiet, contemplative. And even though my schedule design is going to change, given I'm going down to just the one stream a week from next week, I am still planning on using that art and as close to the the schedule design that I have, because I'm terrible at designing schedules. So we'll be sticking with that. Oh, no worries, thank you. I'll steal your model for more art. Wonderful. Blue is very glad to be stolen. For art. Art only. No other stealing of Blue, please. Oh, I suppose Blue wouldn't mind, if it ever got to the point of fanfics, that could be fun. Just wind up reading my own lore before I figure it out. That would be fun. But not something I would put on any of you. It's, yeah, that could be intense. Rightio, we should probably get to the pitchforks, shouldn't we? Goodness me, I got this done. Also, not to derail, which poet did you think about? Blue tangented. I'm so sorry. It's Les Murray. Les Murray was a wonderful Australian poet. I don't know much about the individual himself, so I hope he was a decent human being. Unfortunately, you have to wonder about that for pretty much everyone now. But yes, I'll have to look him up now just to make sure. Not right now, but in the very near future. But there's a particular poem of his, which is the Mother Library's favourite, called An Absolutely Ordinary Rainbow. And I just remember the first time I read it, I would have been quite a young teenager probably, and just breaking down and sobbing. Not that it's overly difficult to get Blue to break down into tears, but still. It's a beautiful, beautiful poem. An Absolutely Ordinary Rainbow by Les Murray. And I think I'd run across an interesting one of his, I think it was of his, about building a house out of bottles. That was interesting. Wow, really pretty cool having an artist who drew you here. It is pretty cool. It is definitely pretty cool, and you should definitely check out Yozorani's work. I have their what do they call them? I can think. Handle. That's the word. My head kept saying icon. I'm like, no, that's the cute little picture. That's the icon. We need the word with the @ symbol thing. Oh, Blue, seriously showing her age there. Not really. I'm just tired. I promise. I've actually got a fire going in the fireplace in the other room, so I may duck out at one point to make sure it's still burning happily. Because, when the temperature drops here, it just drops. And the small one wanted a fire, so Blue complied. And so the small one enjoyed a bit of fire before going to sleep, and she actually fell asleep really well for a change, so maybe we should go for a fire every night. That would be nice. Thank you. You are so very welcome. So very welcome. Am I avoiding this? I think Blue might be practicing avoidance behavior on pitchforks. We're up to here, apparently. Why couldn't past Blue have been a better writer? That would make my life much easier now. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Sorry, mind wandering again. I've spent a lot of time today, well, a lot of wasted time, imagining, you know, if I had the funds, if I had the backing, I would love to make a sort of VTuber / writing company that'll take in all the writers that are turned down by traditional publishing because they're too different or they're too niche or they're not what's popular right now, but they're just still fantastic stories that nobody would get to read otherwise because they're just not being published because they're not the same as everything else. And that's so frustrating. And it would be lovely to make a company like that. And, you know, pay everyone fairly and support them the way a company is supposed to support people. Capitalism would crush me if I tried to start a company, wouldn't it? Blue lit a fireplace for the spring equinox, which is from Australia, right? Love me a good brain lag. Yes, I just missed it. It would have been far more interesting, far more symbolic, far more sort of hinting that Blue might be a witch if she did that. Blue is not a witch. Blue is a library in human skin, which some, I suppose, might argue would suggest witch flavours in there somewhere. But let's not think about it too hard. Blue definitely hasn't. Okay. I may wind up changing this sentence slightly, but at the moment, I'll leave it for now. Okay, so Will is sipping his soup, listening to his friends talk about racing odds. I should probably just pop in horse racing odds just in case. And enemy towns obliterated by their own bombers. Doctor then arrived, he sent for his friends to disperse, left with encouraging farewells and whatnot, and wanted to add, you know, encouragement from friends about, you know, he'll be back in the saddle soon. And that works because he does get back in the saddle himself not too long after, or, you know, tries to. That's what brings us to the stables where the pitchforks are. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with the content of this sentence, paragraph. Let's just try to make it more pleasing to read, I guess. How do we make this more pleasing? I suppose there's honestly not a huge amount that it needs doing. I just want it to sound better. Well, we haven't heard any mention of soup yet, but, you know, it's a short story, and Blue needs to work on not sort of doing everything absolutely linearly. That's one reason why her stories get so long. And that sort of works as a style for Blue a lot of the time, but in short stories it just doesn't work. Whoa, I mean, there used to be a time when the Polish word for witch, literally meant a woman who holds knowledge, so I guess. H to you too, Mickey. Sorry. I am not picking on you, I promise. You can pick on me all you like. I am inviting it on myself most of the time, aren't I? In fact, I just literally invited it up on myself. So, yes, I don't need to sort of actually show him receiving his soup. I think we'll just assume he's sick, he gets the soup. I like putting at in there for some reason because that just makes it seem like, you know, not overly invested in the soup as opposed to just eating it carefully. In my mind, anyway. soupy whoopy. I do remember one time I got super sick and somehow vegetable soup actually made me feel better. I didn't think soup would do anything. I think it might be, well, it's the warmth for one thing, the ease of eating. And maybe it's just it's so easy to pack so many good things into a soup, like so many nutrients. Whenever I make soup, I just try to pack as much in there as possible. One bowl of soup could be my 5 veggie serves a day. So I guess, there's just something very comforting about soup as well. I suppose there's a reason it has the reputation for the best sick food, isn't it? Though I don't know why it's chicken soup that's the main one. Maybe because it's just that much packed in there. But yeah, I would have thought veggie soup would be sort of higher in terms of helping with the health. I'll probably look up stuff about horse racing and figure out the best way to phrase this. So is it a way to say it like the latest odds on the ponies or something like that? That sounds vaguely familiar. I don't like having the as they ate here. That sounds a little awkward, so I might put at the beginning that his friends, set upon the sandwiches sort of thing. I think chicken soup is so high up in the ranking because of the fat in the broth. That's likely a placebo though. But still, I guess you're right. Yes, if there is, that fat, it is helpful, particularly when you're sick and you're not able to eat much. You need that. Yes, I think we need a sentence before here just indicating the rest of his friends coming by and descending upon the sandwich, and well, not just the sandwich, but descending upon the lunch platters. What term did I use? Did I use veranda? Patio, that's the one I used. Passive voice. Try to avoid the passive voice, but I'll leave it here for now. In a minute, the polo game had been entirely abandoned. This isn't right. How many people did we have watching and playing? I don't think 9 polo players. Seems odd to have 9, doesn't it? I suppose I had it there because 9 is one of the adjectives in my list, and I just wanted to use it pretty much every time a number popped up, just as a running thing. Maybe one of them's referee. I don't know how polo works. So we had 9 there, and just a tidy row of spectators. So let's just go with roughly the same number. So maybe just go with around 20 people now on the patio, besides Will. James first. Imagine. Yeah. Just checked. Game of polo should be played by 2 teams of 4 players. Okay, so do we know if there's a ref riding around on the field as well? But I suppose, not everyone has to pursue, but then what's with the 9? So I've got 9 bombers, and then later on it's 9 times been sent back into active duty. Well, let's just pop it as 8 to be proper. And then I suppose then if we wanted, each time we came across a number, we could just move up. So 8 polo players, 9 bombers, 10 times sent back. Oh dear, that's a lot. That's a lot. I suppose we don't know much about this war, do we? And we can't really go into any detail about how it started or how long it's been going in this short story. But the person Will comes across who keeps being sent back is quite young as well. So I'm guessing the thing is he keeps getting, injured enough to be sent home to be patched up, but then recovered enough to be sent back. So that's probably what's going on. But again, no time to say it. We're just going to have to do our best to convey it. Maybe we can, indicate some signs of past injuries and such. How do I phrase this sentence? Okay. So James came first. So, but the others are right behind. I don't have to say it's abandoned, so we know they're coming. So I never know whether to type numbers in words or in the numerals. I think the general thing I try to go by is 0 to 9 in words and then 10 up in numerals. But sometimes it just strikes me as really odd seeing like the numerals sitting there staring at me like that. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh yes, except for the first word of a sentence. I think the first word of a sentence, it's always written out in words. It just looks better to do it in words, but then if you've got really big numbers, it just gets a bit ridiculous, and I prefer to be consistent. Not that it matters in a short story. Guessettes. Guests. We don't need to say sandwich. We know there's sandwiches. We know there's cheese and meats. Just depending upon descending upon the platters was probably enough. Descending upon the platters. Let's not go back to breakfast. Let's go with a brunch thing. What can they have for brunch? What's something fancy? Something fancy for brunch. Well, scones. I don't say scones, I say scones. Scones. I think scones are a little like biscuit in the US, maybe, but usually sweeter. So I've had some lovely sort of lavender flavoured savoury scones, and they were very nice. We don't need to say brunch then, we just say, you know. That's a long sentence. I want that adjective there somehow. I found out there was a British cake called Spotted Dick. Yes, there are some rather unfortunate food names out there, aren't there? Yes, I had come across that one before, and I did not look it up. I just decided, yes, it's a dessert. I'm not going to question it. I'd rather not use that search term, just in case. Actually, maybe not buttered. It's, what's the term? Clotted cream. I think that pops up in Britain a fair bit. Clotted cream. Yeah, not sure if I wanted to look that up on images. Yeah, sometimes you just got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Long sentence is long. It's okay. You probably won't get to see ProWritingAid yelling at me about it, given we probably won't get to that stage tonight. Oh dear. Blue will still try to get as much done as she can and push on as long as she can, but you know, she's being pulled by the want to just sit by the fire sort of thing. Just have to keep reminding myself, the fireplace isn't going anywhere, and neither is the pile of wood in the shed. We can light another one. Oh, it actually lit ridiculously well as well, but I think that's just because all that wood's been sitting in there for a year now, so it's dried out ridiculously well, as opposed to when I first got it and it was quite damp and it just took forever to start the fires. Oh, there's a German candy called Dicknuss. Dicknusse? I have no idea. I think it means fat nuts. Interesting in both languages. And I think these are chocolate pralines with nuts, so at least it's kind of accurate. It's accurate. It is an accurate description of the, what is the term? Confectionery. That's the one I was looking for. But maybe we should put some chocolate in here. These people are decadent. Maybe just leave off the tea. We'll just assume everyone has tea. And I'm thinking is like the Cadbury flake chocolate and just sort of crumbling it over scones with clotted cream. Oh, fellow German, let's go. Yay. Ooh, I don't think Ashley is German, but does know German. Polish, yes. But everyone is welcome. Oh dear. Everyone is welcome, and Blue will try to be more entertaining, as opposed to just complaining about how bad past Blue was at writing. Oh, never mind, let's go. Let's go anyway. Let's get to the pitchforks. Dear, the patio soon bustled with the estate's 20-odd lunch guests, the polo players and spectators descending upon the platters as though they hadn't all indulged in scones with clotted cream and crumbled chocolate flakes on that same patio not 2 hours previously. I know it's a really long sentence, but it does sort of work with this setting and with the Will as the point of view, I think. Crumbled chocolate flakes doesn't sound quite right, but I'll fix that later. And I know I'm using patio twice in the same sentence, but it is a long sentence, and they are far apart from each other, and it wouldn't really make sense to use a different word here. Hey, we're neighbours, you are. You can go halfway, at least you're close to each other. Indeed, indeed. As opposed to Blue, who is all the way down here in Australia land. Land of Australias. Sorry. Oh, Will sipped. Well, let's just throw that there. Will only sipped at his soup. You should be eating better, young man. You're ill. Must improve your health. Or maybe instead of only, just sipped at his soup. With James's encouragement. Thank you, James. You know, got a terrible sense of humour, but at least, you know, seem to be a good guy. Oh, yes, Australia, the fictional land told in many stories. Aren't there transporter cities around Odra? I don't know. Will sipped at his soup with James's encouragement, listening to his friend's boisterous chatter about I was going, you know, about enemy towns obliterated by their own bombers to sort of hark back to what's just happened with them flying overhead, but I'm just wondering. I mean, I know as well, you know, we've got the stark contrast between the horse races and the... I just feel like I should say, you know, news from the war front. Two words. Two words? I still want to go into the enemy towns obliterated by their own bombers. Let's just be a bit more. I suppose I don't really want to name anyone else in this short story. We've got Will, we've got James, we've got Lottie, and we've got Pitchfork Dude further down, who I think is Michael. I don't want to sort of get too many names in such a short story. That might get a little confusing. Just staring at this. I do want to keep this in there, but I think... who knows what I think. Is it weird to have one number in numerical form and another in word form in the same paragraph? It depends, I think. It's, yeah. If it's, you know, if it's the 0 to 9 and it's used in words and then numbers after that, it's in the numerals and it's in the same paragraph, I think it's still okay. I guess it depends on the numbers. Yes, I think sometimes it just has to come down to how does it look on the page. And even if it's not technically, you know, correct as such, sometimes it just have to trust your gut on what looks best. yes, maybe just some sort of making light of enemy towns obliterated by their own bombers sort of thing, because even though Will is keen to sort of, you know, he'd like to go back to service, I don't think, you know, he's frivolous about things like death and destruction, because he's come very close to death himself. Try writing this ridiculously long number and you quickly discover how useful numerical forms are. Indeed. Indeed. I forget what word I was thinking of. That's not useful. To think of, you know, just the happy chatter. Happy chatter about enemy towns obliterated, but we have boisterous chatter here. How about like something like that, maybe. Well, maybe not happily, maybe more like cheerfully. I know it's an adverb, but we can use the occasional adverb. Adverbs are not evil incarnate, they're just something to use in moderation. Like chocolate. The small one and I made a chocolate cake yesterday because the small one said, as we were having lunch, I want to make a cake. And Blue said, okay! So we did. She sort of knows the recipe she likes as well. It's in a kid's cookbook, so she asked for the book and I gave it to her and it didn't take her long to find it. Very, very simple recipe. No eggs. No eggs required. This is good, because if there were eggs, the small one would want to crack them. She's not too bad at it, but it's still better to try to keep as much eggshell out of the cake as possible. And Live Studio has disconnected. Reconnect. Successful. Yay. Hopefully. Oh, disconnected again. That's not good. This is not good. This is not good. Please let me know what's going on. Please let me know if I'm back. I haven't sort of, you know, dropped into oblivion on the internet, have I? We're still here. You don't like your cakes with a bit of crunch? Not generally, no. Not generally. At least not that kind of crunch. Maybe if there was something that's, you know, good and crunchy, like some kind of lolly, or some people might like nuts, I guess. Although that's kind of dangerous to hide nuts in a cake, isn't it? What's something good and crunchy that can go on a cake? I suppose usually it'd be sprinkled on top, wouldn't it? Something could work. Or I suppose you could just eat a piece of cake and potato chips at the same time. Oh, and Live Studio has disconnected and I get a lag. Perfect timing, internet. Oh dear. I sort of don't want to obviously say that Will isn't exactly enjoying this sort of cheerful talking about the war. Hoping it just sort of comes across, you know, the fact that he's not sort of participating, but I suppose that also comes down to his health, so I'm not sure. A lolly in the cake, is that an Australian thing? Oh, I would love to fill a cake with lollies. You know that thing when you leave a hollow in the cake and some people fill it with fruit and stuff? I just want to fill it. Oh, I think the Mother Library did that last year for the small ones. The small one's birthday. She made a cake and filled it with lolly snakes. You know, the Allen's lolly snakes. So you cut into the cake and just a snake explosion. It was delicious. And yeah, when I've been cutting the small ones, pieces of chocolate cake, we've been putting a few strawberry and cream lollies on top. Yes, if the cake was to be presented, I would decorate the entire thing around the outside with the lollies so it resembles the cake is a lie cake. But while we're just eating it ourselves, no need to put in that particular amount of effort. We can just dress them up before we eat them. That works. Yeah, we might be adding too many words if I try to go into any detail about Will not really enjoying this sort of talk. Well, I'm imagining it with a stick attached to the lollipop. That would make it a little too crunchy, maybe. Oh, never mind. Sort of lollipops, not those gummy things. You have snake lollipops, that beats lolly whistles. No, not snake lollipops. Snake lollies. Just sweets, candies. They're sort of gummy, soft lollies. It's, yeah, I think gummy is the best thing I can call them. They're not gummy bears or anything. It's a bit softer than most gummy bears, I think. But lolly snakes. Yes, candy. We don't really use that word a huge amount for sweeties. We use sweets and sweeties, but lollies is the main word I use, at least. It's, yeah, and we still have lollipops, and they're the hard, lickable, sweet things on sticks. But yeah, lolly snakes. Okay, that makes sense. English dialect's crazy. Yeah, that's another thing that makes the writing in American style English for the main magical project a little challenging. I think there's just a few things that I refuse to do. Like, I refuse to use the term fall for the season. I will use autumn. It is definitely autumn. Even if I'm writing in American English, I'm still using autumn. And but I have been using candy. But I've been using sweets as well. I think sweets is a bit of a compromise, I guess, because I'm hoping no matter where you are in the world, you'll figure out what sweets are. Oh, and I thought you guys called lollipops lollies. I was confused. I just say gummies. Sweeties is so cute. Well, they are sweeties. Anything with sugary goodness is a sweetie. So cake is sweeties, and lollies are sweeties, and choco is sweeties. Yeah, it feels almost strange to me to think about lolly snakes being gummies, but I suppose they are technically gummies. But I always think of gummies as like the sort of slightly harder gummy bears, whereas lolly snakes are very soft. You still get the good, I love the, it's not texture, but just the feeling when you're sort of biting down on the lolly snake slowly, and it's just a good pressure on the teeth. I need that sometimes, it seems. Like, that certain pressure of biting down on a lolly snake sometimes makes me feel a lot better. Oh, writing fantasy and dialects is cool. Add some unseen magic to the text. Ah, indeed. Oh, goodness me, I am getting impatient. I want to share my main magical project with you so much, but there's still so much work to do on it, and I keep wondering if I should try to do some rapid fire work on the story cycle and get as many of, rework those short stories as best I can and get those out first. But it's just, everything takes so much time and energy, and Blue is short on all of those things most of the time. I'm sorry, I'm complaining so much. Whoa, I recently heard some fragments of the Hobbits in Silesian? Is that... Whoa. Well, do you say fries or chips? It depends on the shape and the company. Usually if I just want them, I say chips. But if we're talking about, a specific fast food chain and they call them French fries, I would say fries if I was ordering them, and I know what the fries are if I'm using the kiosks. But everything can fall under the banner of chips. But the fries are the shoestring ones, the thin, small ones. Ugh, Gandalf. Stary chop ze Krykon. Oh dear. I think I did mention in my last stream, didn't I, that I was having another crack at fixing up my main magical project, Conlang. Yeah, didn't get hugely far, but I think I've fixed up the phonemes at least. Still need to sort out the grammar. I suppose it's, you know, not as big a deal for me because I'm not a hard world builder, but I'd still like to have as much of the language there. So it's there for people to play with if they want to. I need to focus. We're almost at an hour and I've barely done one paragraph. There we go. Just thought of something. It's hard to say what Silesian is. Some call it a dialect of Polish, some call it a separate language. I think there are also people who think it's a dialect of Czech. Okay. Okay, so is it mainly spoken in Poland that you're aware of? Around that area, I imagine around that area, but is it a reasonably frequently used dialect? Or is it quite rare? I don't think Will would have actually confronted his friends about how they're talking about the war. I think he would have wanted to, but would have been unable to sort of bring himself to do it. And so had that discomfort. I know I just use cheerful, but it's just cheerful. Placeholder word. I suppose there is a fair difference between sort of, you know, somehow remaining cheerful in the face of war as opposed to making light of war. Southern Poland and Northern Czech Republic. There are places and people that use it every day. There are people and places that don't use it. I don't live in the region. Goodness me, there are just so many languages in existence, are they? And so many just falling out of existence from lack of use. It's really quite terrifying. There's, you know, for example, there's just so many Indigenous languages in Australia. It's terrifying to think how many the world is going to lose just through lack of use and lack of, you know, awareness, I guess, and lack of care. Lack of care from, you know, descendants of invaders such as myself. Ugh. I've seen, you know, there's a few programs trying to keep them going, but there's probably already been so many lost. Will's discomfort at his friends. I don't want to use the word. Is that too heavy or too sort of in your face, too sort of preachy? I don't know. No, that was a big problem in the original version of my shapeshifter story. It just got way too preachy, and, you know, reading back over it years later, I was like, oh my goodness, Blue, this is how. Hi, American English. Thank you. Thank you. I used an American term in the story today that I know what it is, and I've heard it in films and television, but I've never ever used it myself. It is bupkis. It worked for the character. It works for the character. So I don't know if I'll use it again, but it works in that moment for that character. The only only word I can think of here is interrupted, but that makes it sound like it's a bad thing. Maybe just a sort of, you know, thankfully interrupted or something like that. But that's more adverbs. We don't need more adverbs. Oh, Indigenous Australian languages are so interesting. There's a language that's completely flipped its grammar in 50 years. There are people who believe that a god-created conlang with clicks. Oh. Wow. I should really look into it more. I should. There's it's really quite cool in the area that I live in. There's been more of an effort to try to keep the local language, you know, in the minds of everyone around here. So it's often on some signs, and you know, it's on signs and such in the school and in the local library. It's really quite cool. Paragraph just seems too long to me because I tend to have, you know, reasonably short, punchy paragraphs, but I think this is probably fine. Oh, if I were to visit, Brisbane seems a pretty cool place, and also the only one I'm familiar with besides Sydney. I will confess, I know an awful lot about Brisbane. Yes, Blue used to be from around there, that sort of area. As in enough. Yes, I come from somewhere very close to Brisbane. I do not live there anymore, but it's pretty much where Blue is from. Brisbane is wonderful. Real estate wise, not so good. It's I think it's gotten even worse than Melbourne these days, which is saying something. But yeah, I've been to Sydney a few times. It's okay. Big and dirty. It's got a big bridge. And, you know, an opera house that's kind of cute. But Brisbane is sort of going places now. It's, you know, compared to a lot of cities, in many ways Brisbane really is quite beautiful. All the parklands. If you don't like humidity, maybe not your sort of place. And, yeah, it never really gets particularly cold there, even in the winter. Which, you know, some people would really like, but yes, we used to drive south for our holidays just to get cold. Yeah, Brisbane is going places. Yeah. I think sometimes about moving back, but it probably just wouldn't be sensible. To answer your question, yes, Brisbane is a pretty cool place. You should go there. And, you know, it's really close to the Gold Coast as well, which has all the beaches and the theme parks and fun things. There's lots of zoos, lots of arts-centric things like the museums, and QPAC, the Queensland Performing Arts Centre. I've sung in there at least once. And yeah, just it's a nice place in general to be. Sorry, I can't think of many other specific things, but yes, do recommend Brisbane as a place to visit. It also, yes, just makes a good sort of base because there's Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast and lots of other things going on around there that if you rent a car or work the trains or buses, you can go out and visit. That being said, the public transport system isn't absolutely brilliant. It does work generally, but you know, Japan's is better. Oh dear. I keep just thinking interrupted, but Well, you've sung in a singing performance place. Professional. Not professional. No, not professional. It was with my community choir. It was a part of, I think we were supporting a really big event. We were just sort of there as extra voices. Yeah, I think I've sung in a lot of places in Brisbane, but that's probably the most professional-ish sounding place I've sung in. Oh, I miss choir. I miss just singing in general. I really need to organise karaoke streams, don't I? Sorry. It's one of the things I'm most looking forward to in becoming a VTuber-esque individual, was the karaoke streams. But yes, I need to get the tracks made, and I don't like bothering people to make my backing tracks. Oh well, I will get on it soon. And hopefully we'll have a wonderful time singing together on, well, that'll have to be unarchived because Blue has no permissions. I'll just go with interrupted for now. I don't want to keep that word, but yeah, let's just mark it and we'll try to think of a better one later. How can we still be on the same paragraph? Because I keep going off on tangents, that's why. Actually, there's probably a whole bunch of random stuff I've learned. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my light just... I think the power just flickered. That's not a good sign. Well, if the power goes out and I get wiped out of existence, you know what happened. Goodness me, I hope that was just a light bulb. I don't remember seeing my screens flicker, but I don't like this. I don't like this. If the lights go out, it will be very, very dark here. At this time, all we've got is the stars, and it is not enough to see by, to wander through the house and make sure the small one is okay. Yes, there's probably a lot of old, chorusy, choiry sort of stuff that is well out of copyright that I could probably sing for you randomly, but it's not exactly enjoyable to listen to just one part warbling along when it's supposed to be, anything between 4 and 12 parts or whatever, and a whole, supposed to be this wall of sound. But still, soprano parts are nice. Well, that was creepy. It was! Oh no, Blue generally sings soprano top part, although she did move down to mezzo for quite a while, because Blue can also sing quite low, and mezzo needed a bit more oomph in the choir, so Blue volunteered to help with some oomph, because Blue can give oomph when singing. Blue has oomph to spare. Too much giggling, not enough writing. Will's unspoken discomfort at this casual making light of death and destruction was interrupted by the arrival of his doctor. His friends. Sufficiently satiated. Take that as a signal to disperse. I know it just seems like I'm adding more and more and probably not actually improving on it very much, but okay. We had James giving encouragement earlier, but so I don't want to use the word again here, but I do want to have someone, what's the time? Don't worry, old chap. Probably just James again, because James is included among the friends. forcing tactics, because for some reason, as you know, I am sort of set on the idea of Will being quite taken by mathematics and stuff, and so, you know, these guys are probably just, you know, they are hardly professional polo players, just a bit of a free-for-all, and Will probably, yeah, forces tactics on them. Oh, dearie me. Sorry, water. Head is floating a little bit. Plus, there's a problem with trying to sing you sort of choir-y sort of things, because most of the ones I did were all in Latin. Or, what's the word? Goodness me, why can't I think of the word? Slavonic. Latin or Slavonic? So, yeah. Other mostly European languages in there too, but mostly Latin and a bit of Slavonic. Whether it was Italian or Germanic Latin depended on the piece we were singing. But no matter which it is, if I tried to sing it now, I would butcher it. Trying to remember Latin that I sang, 10 years ago. I suppose I could just look it up, but yes. Maybe forcing tactical plays. That's before you know it. Oh dear. I am sorry this is taking so long. It's just, I suppose it's a lot easier sort of reworking the main magical project, because even though I wrote that quite a long time ago, that was when I sort of developed my actual writing style, whereas this is from several years before then. So nothing feels right about this, and it's really quite difficult to try to force it into sort of the way blue is supposed to sound. I do salute you, Latin and Slavonic are indeed serious business. At least we were allowed to hold our music while we sung, and I'm reasonably good with music, and so I had most of the music itself pretty well learned, pretty well memorized, so I could just focus on the the words and the conductor. Must watch the conductor. Yes, there was a joke about musical terminology in our sheet music, and what does this mean? It means watch the conductor. Well, what does this mean? It means watch the conductor. Everything just means watch the conductor, because the conductor will tell you what to do. Oh dear. Oh dear. Sorry, I've just got one of the pieces floating through my head right now. Unless you're choristers, you probably wouldn't have heard of it, but from... was it from... I don't think it was from the all-night vigil, was it? I don't know, a Rachmaninoff piece, but there was one particular one that we sort of sang a lot. That was just sort of part of the regular repertoire of the choir. Ooh, I looked it up on Google Earth. It looks pretty, more pretty than where I live. Brisbane is a very pretty city, and I'm hoping it stays that way, as population is only picking up. And what is it? Olympics in 8 years there, so that'll be interesting. Hopefully the public transport system will be improved enough that it will survive. Yes, it's called as Bogorodice Dievo. Really gorgeous part of one of Rachmaninoff's big pieces, but I can't remember whether it's the all-night vigil or if it's something else. I didn't think I sang. Did I sing the all night vigil at any point? I can't remember. If I did it, we didn't sing it all night. Otherwise, I would have remembered that. Goodness me, I can't remember. I sang an awful lot of stuff in choirs over the years. It all sort of melds together. And you know, I can't even remember everything that I've sung. Ooh, but I do have a favourite thing. Can I remember what it is? Oh, I've just got to look it up now because I want to share it with you. It is just the best thing I've ever sung. Just looking it up. It's something like, what's his name? Narcissus? No. Benedizio. Is that right? Yes, no, yes, no. Why am I looking it up here? I should be looking it up in YouTube. Where are you? Sorry, I'm distracted. Benedizio Urmas. Here it is, Urmas. I just need to, yes. No, stop. I did not tell you to play the video. Yes. I'm just going to throw it in chat so you can look up the song if you want, because it's probably my favorite thing that I've ever sung in a choir. Yeah, and I particularly like the Gondwana chorale version. It's very good. They do it at a good speed, and a lot of other ones I've heard it, they do it really quite slowly, but you know, this one by the Gondwana chorale, they go for it. It's great. Oh, but yes, I sang the soprano part in this song, and oh goodness me, I would love to sing it again so much. But please, I implore you, have a listen to this one. Even if you're not into choral music, I hope you get something out of it. So usually I find I prefer to, I almost always prefer to be the one singing the choral music than just sort of listening to it. But with this one, I could just listen to it forever. It's so good. Sorry, I am so tangenty tonight. We're getting nothing done. Nothing done. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. So, sorry for rambling a little bit there. Submitting himself to a checkup, does that make sense? Maybe not submitting, but... We'll play the obedient patient. That's sort of, you know, gives us the immediate impression that he's about to do something not so obedient, so that's good. We'll play the obedient patient, swallowing his medicine and enduring his daily checkup. When his doctor went inside, doesn't sound right. Entered the manor. That works. When his doctor entered the manor to discuss... maybe that sort of, that covers it, I think, that it's implied there that they are to discuss Will's health. still have him sort of being furtive here. I don't want to use it as an adverb though. The obedient patient, swallowing his medicine and enduring his daily checkup. When his doctor entered the manor to sit down with his parents, Will held his breath, listening. No footsteps nearby. Maybe just say, Lottie must be in the kitchen. There's no real need to mention Lottie again, it's just no footsteps nearby, that should do. So the furtive glance in all accessible directions. So slowly Will mount his feet. To support his diminished form. Where is his cane before he's walking with it? Probably be trying to keep his, the sound of his cane as quiet as possible, but With furtive glance in all accessible directions, so slowly Oh my god, I'm finally awake for a stream. Hello you Yoshi, lovely to see you. So lovely to see you. I am wrestling with the pitchfork story. We've been going for over an hour and this is all I've done. Yeah, just trying my best to actually make this sound good, and it's not really working at the moment. I don't really like timid as such. Timid doesn't seem to quite work for Will. We want, quiet and careful, measured, cautious. Cautious might work better. I wonder if there's some way for him to mute the sound of his cane against the patio, which I'm assuming is either stone or wood. But then he'd possibly just be walking on grass. Measured steps, maybe. Yes, his steps. Measured. Maybe he sort of, binds some cloth around the bottom of his cane before he gets up to sort of mute the sound. Because, clearly he's thought about this in advance. see, a napkin. A napkin. What's the bottom of a cane called? The top is the handle. What's the bottom of a cane called? I need to look that up. Parts of a cane. Ah, dear. Here we are. The anatomy. The tip. That is what it's called. Yep, the tip. Found it in the same moment. Thought of it in the same moment. Yep, that makes sense. The furtive glance in all accessible directions. Capitalized names, blue. Will says it's called a ferrule. A ferrule. That is a good word. That is a good word. I may stick with tip. Just because, even if the ferrule is a fantastic word and it may be the most correct one, it's a short story. I don't really want to make people look it up on Google. Will tied a napkin around the tip of his cane. And so slowly. I said found his feet just to sort of make it easy, but we need to sort of indicate, you know, the difficulty in rising. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. What do you think? No. Ooh, for a rule, the tip of a cane provides traction and added support when the cane is used at an angle. Many kinds of ferrules exist, but the most common is a simple ridged rubber stopper. Yes, it does sound like that is the most correct word to use. Oh, hello, Red N. So lovely to see you. So lovely to see you. Blue is struggling currently. Struggling to improve on long ago Blue's work. Not as in it's so good that it doesn't need much work, as in it's so bad that it needs so much work. Yes, it does sound like ferrule is the most correct word, but I think I'll stick with tip for now to just, oh dear, make it simpler for readers. I tend to, you know, even in my novel writing, I'll throw in a word now and then that is slightly more uncommon. But in general, I don't want people to need to look up too many words when they're reading my works. If there is a simpler word, I will usually, not always, but usually steer towards it. Too many wills in one sentence. Raised doesn't seem like the right word, so... levered, that'll work. Levered, his diminished form. From, out of. That'll do for now. Ooh, it's an intelligent check. Does the reader have a thesaurus on hand? Yeah. I used to think that way quite a lot when I'm reading, when I was reading, and you know, hearing other people coming across these difficult words when I already knew what they were, and you know, them not knowing what it was, and me thinking, oh, you can just look it up. But it does sort of, what's the word? Ruin the submersion? That sort of thing. So obscure terms create frustration. It can. Dang, I failed the intelligence check. Don't worry, Blue did too. In fact, I'm pretty sure Blue would fail every intelligence check. Oh dear. Maybe instead of out of the armchair, just into a position passing for vertical, maybe. Vertical. Vertical. Oh, when it comes to those words, I'll typically describe it first before using the word from then on. That sounds like an intelligent way to go about things. Sometimes, though, it's simply not applicable. No, Blue definitely agrees with those. Seems like a good way to go about things, and to just sort of, if you know it's not going to work, just don't use the word, no matter how much you want to. You can possibly make a social media post about how much you would like to use this word here, but you are too considerate for your readers' submersion. Oh, dearie me. Blue had made a short list of words that she despises back when she was thinking about doing YouTube shorts, but she is now very much decided against this. So might one time do a stream just with maybe not just words that will I'm looking at will words that Blue cannot stand, and also, you know, ones she cannot spell. There's a lot that Blue just cannot spell. No matter how many times she uses the word, she can never spell it. Arguing friends of the plural of furnace. I say ferni, they say fernie. That is honestly not something I have thought about before. Normal people say furnaces. Yeah, I probably lean towards furnaces. Blue is basic. Blue is basic when it comes to furnaces, it seems. Ooh, a lovely like. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. No, I don't want to begin this sentence like that. Heck, sorry. The cough was on me before I could stop it. Come on, Blue, just get a move on. Will played the obedient patient, swallowing his medicine. Does medicine sound right, or do you think medication would sound better? Oh, maybe something more along the lines of, you know, concoction. It's bitter concoction. Probably overkill. So what were your suggestions, ProWritingAid, for medicine? Well, I didn't have a problem before with throwing out some alternatives. Let's just go with medication. I think it sounds a bit better here. Will played the obedient patient, swallowing his medication and enduring his daily checkup. When his doctor entered the manor to sit down with his parents, Will held his breath, listening. No footsteps nearby. With a furtive glance in all accessible directions, Will tied a napkin around the tip of his cane and so slowly levered his diminished form into a position passing for vertical. Perhaps... oh, tincture. I probably did not even pronounce that correctly. That's a good word. I know of that word, I just haven't seen it any time recently, but I think that one could probably get a pass. I think that one's probably okay. It's just throw that down there, and I might just pop it in here just so I can double check it later. No, that's a good one, thank you. Ag, that's 2 sentences beginning with. Maybe that changes it up. I think that makes it more okay. Makes it okay. With measured steps. Would it be like something like cobblestone path? Ooh, I typically only see tincture and Victorian era steampunk writings, maybe in a fantasy depending on the setting. I use it a lot though. Well, this is technically a fantasy, mostly just because it's during an unknown war and we don't actually know what country or world or anything this is. It's just sort of resembling, you know, Britain in the first half of the 20th century. But, you know, it could very well have more fantasy aspects to things that we're just not seeing. So it could work. It could work. Sound is boring. Clacks. Clacks of his cane muted on the wooden patio. And cobblestone paths. Will made the... Seems weird saying the short journey, because yes, it is a short journey, but for him it would be fairly arduous, wouldn't it? I just found white hair on my head. Is it over for me? It is not over for you, I promise. But despite being of a blonde nature, real life Blue has very dark eyebrows and eyelashes. We did try that for the model, but it didn't look quite right, so we went with blonde eyebrows. But in real life Blue has very dark eyebrows, and I find white ones in there all the time. I know I'm a little bit older than you, but still, it's been happening for a while. It is not all over for you. Let me reassure you. Oh, my dad lost all his hair in his 30s. I'm 24. If anyone here, it's over for me. It is not over for you. Not at all. Not in the least. Not one bit. Oh, anyway. I would have thought hair going white would actually be reasonably useful then, because then, you know, you can dye it any colour you want and it just, you know, works much better in white hair, I imagine. Blue has not actually dyed her hair because she quite likes this shade and does not want to lose access to it. But yes, white hair dyes easily. Ooh, at least no white hair, just no hair. Fair enough. I need it. I like my long curly hair. Long curly hair is nice. But you know, all hair has nice in its ways. No hair is nice too. That's something I think the small one and I started saying randomly to each other. I can't remember why. Just, I would love you with no hair. And I will love you with no hair. Yes, we both have rather long hair. Mostly, well, the small one's got the long hair because every time she watches Tangled, she says she wants to have hair as long as Rapunzel. So that'll take some work. I will dye that one strand of hair. Dye it the best colour. Ooh, thank you so much. Dye it a colour that will strike fear into the hearts of your enemies. Or, you know, what's the term? I'm trying to think of something particularly dramatic for you. The only one I can think of is, what's that one that popped up in, oh, those stories I never finished. The Throne of Glass series. Something about, you know, we all rattle the stars, and I don't think I'm ever going to finish them. Oh, another lovely like, thank you. I think I started getting pretty annoyed with them as I was reading them. So probably won't actually finish them. But yes, I did like that one line about, you know, let us rattle the stars. That's a good one. Oh, Blue hopes she has some random good lines scattered through her novels that people can take and just say, wow. I mean, you know, I hope I can do that. Maybe it's just I can't recognize them because I'm the one writing them. Not gonna lie, having a single strand of hair which color contrasts with the rest looks awesome. It might be hard to see the single strand, but if you just gathered a small selection around it so you have that sort of little streak, yes, very cool. Very, very cool. Maybe just not describe the journey to the stables, but indicate, you know, his state when he gets there. Or we can still say short journey, but then, yeah, let's stick with short journey. We never indicated how the polo horses were taken care of. I think we could just assume that it was the stable hands, but then, wouldn't Will be worried that they'd still be there looking after the horses? Oh, too much to think about. Maybe I should just indicate Lottie must be in the kitchen and the stable hands had gone in for their meal or something. Footsteps nearby. Lottie must have returned to the kitchen. Or maybe it's just brilliant, but I'll go over it again later. We don't need to say estate stables. This. I think it's more, just need to sort of try to get out more of Will's frustration. I mean, we know he's been ill for a long time, but you know, it's not like he's a serious polo player or anything. It's more just like, you know, he wants to do this just to prove that he can, sort of. You know, to just feel a little less sick, I guess. I don't know how to phrase that. I don't think I really want to keep that unless there's any of the words there. I don't think so. Was I doing numerals? I was. Sound brilliant, but that sort of feeling. See if I can fix that up later, but let's at least try to reach the word pitchfork before I stop. I keep saying that I won't work on this one on stream again. I'll finish it myself, but if you're happy for me to, keep whacking away at this story on streams, let me know. I mean, it'll be less frequently because it's just going to be the one stream a week now. Yes, for anyone who is not aware at this point, I'm going down to one stream a week, which will be in Blues time, Mondays mid morning, which for lovely people from the US will be the Sunday before in the afternoon or evening. So hopefully, yes, that's a better time for some people, but for those who it's not a better time, I'm so sorry. You can continue, I don't mind. Thank you. I suppose it is, for the lack of a better word, content. I know, I'm just, worried I'm boring you. Meanwhile, in Europe, I know, I'm so sorry. I know. I'm not just moving it to try to make times more convenient for other people. It's mostly because the streaming so late at night for me just isn't working anymore. I'm, surviving on sleep fumes at present. Though I had a better sleep last night, so that's something. Yes, and there's other reasons as well, which I'll probably go into. It won't be this Monday stream, but the stream afterwards. It's, many various reasons. Another one being, if I just stream once a week, I will have more time for writing, and with fewer sort of streams to plan for and prepare, again, more writing. I know there's only, so much to prepare for things like gaming and reading streams, but I still need to do some form of preparation and, just getting ready sort of thing. Stop doubting yourself. We like you. Thank you. Sleep is important, and not having to miss every stream because work kills me. Or sleep sounds nice. I am glad it's a better time for you, but I'm so sorry, Ashley. It's not a great time for you. Time zones. Why? Why do we exist? Why aren't we all living on space stations where we can all exist at the same time? Well, that probably wouldn't be like that because everyone would want everything going at once, so we'd still all be in shifts anyway. Where? I still may do random gaming streams now and then, which will probably be, you know, at the times where I stream now. But yes, I don't know how frequent that will be. Yes, you know, Blue may be a VTuber-y person, and Blue does enjoy playing games and does enjoy streaming games, but it's not really what she really wants to do, sort of thing, if you know what I mean. Okay. Better this than every city having its own local time. That would be too much. Or calling 7 p.m. early morning. Wait, China exists. Yes, I remember seeing how China is all one time zone. I suppose that is just one way to do it, but yeah, it doesn't quite work with things like circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms, they rule us all. Oh dear. I'm just remembering it was something from psychology, maybe, when there was some sort of experiment with people staying in, was it just a completely, you know, room where you can't see any sunlight or outside, and just the circadian rhythm just kept slipping back and back and back and back and back. I can't remember exactly. Oh, excuse me. To do something about, well, again, short stories, so don't need to go into too much detail with anything, but you know, Will's entire body trembled. Do we need to have him sort of resting against the wall first or something? I don't know, it's probably not necessary. Blue is thinking too hard about this. I should be paying more attention to what the old stuff was and just trying to adjust that without necessarily needing to add too much new stuff. I have already done that in the previous paragraphs. By the time he stumbled through the stable doors, Will's entire body trembled. I don't think there's anywhere sort of easy for him to sit down. So it would be the wall he rests against if he needs to rest. No, I don't want to start the sentence like that. To at least reach the pitchfork. Here's the pitchfork. Are we gonna reach it? I don't know. I once heard aliens could guess Earth has 24 hours long day and night cycles just by analysing how our brain works. I think that would work. Yes, the again, circadian rhythm probably in there to be extracted somehow. By the time he stumbled through the stable doors, Will's entire body trembled. Pitchforks. We must reach at least the word pitchfork. I'm talking about this pitchfork story, and I know we went into the pitchforks in the first stream when we went through the original version as it was. Regular forks, no pitch. Ooh, what about tuning porks? Tuning porks? Tuning porks. Now it's just a chorus of swine. Swine chorus. Tuning porks. Tuning forks. Why not sporks? Ooh, pitch sporks. Still pointy. Still do damage. Ooh, and we know tuning forks can do damage too. Did anyone watch the anime Gilgamesh? That was some ending. All about that pitch, no forks. I just don't know how to go on to the next part, so maybe I just shouldn't think about it. All I can think is like harebrained scheme. Okay, so it's okay if we do have Will petting his horse here because he wanders away to find what the sound is. I couldn't remember if the sound happened right by the horse or not, and then the horse just sort of faded into the background without my noticing. That's bad. By the time he stumped through the stable doors, his entire body trembled. I know this is using pushed twice in the same sentence, but I'm doing it for effect, so hopefully it's not too irritating for anyone. Probably seen her, but I don't think he would have gotten the chance to actually, show any affection to his horse in the whole time since he's been back, because he's look behind you, there's something there. Don't do that. Don't do that. It is still fresh in Blue's mind, the lights flickering. Ah. Probably sneaked some fruit for her. We don't need to say anything about deciding to saddle and ride. We know that's what he's planning to do. So that's a bit superfluous, I think. Would brow work, or would it be more nose? Don't worry, it's friendly. It says hi. Hello. I'm glad you're friendly. Please do not freak Blue out. She will not react well. Oh dear. If this is the first time he's sort of able to have physical contact with his horse, then probably there's some of the you know, forehead against horse forehead. Or nose, or brow, whatever the correct term is. He's not following up the Ouija talk. Oh, Blue does not want to do Ouija. It's not something that Blue wants to do. Even if it could make for an interesting stream, Blue is not doing that. No, 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 no. That'll do. I don't know what the horse smell is, but I imagine it's, you know, more warm and familiar and sort of strangely musty but fresh. Yes, it's the ghost of Sunfeather Red. Oh dear. I don't need to go into detail here. When does he hear the sob? As the crunching begins, or as the crunching finishes? Probably as the crunching finishes. Maybe he's wiping, you know, hands sticky with juice on trousers or something. That seems a bit not something Will would do. Would be wiping it on a handkerchief or something. Tarot stream would be interesting. Less risky, more interpretation. That is a good thought. That is a good thought. I did say I have been meaning to get some tarot cards at one point, but I know next to nothing about it, so maybe it would have to be, you know, I have the cards and chat directs me. I will look into it. I will look into it. I suppose I don't need to say. Oh, I could say wiped it off his wiped the juice off his hands, and then as he's looking for the sob, tucking the handkerchief back into his pocket or something. I'm pondering the orb. It says, what does the orb say? What does the orb say? Heard a sob just sounds a little too straightforward. Nickel? Nickel. That's a horse sound, isn't it? Sorry, but a payment of 10 peaches is required. I never received those 20 peaches after my stomach exploded. I'm sorry, I did bequeath them to you. They were bequeathed. They were so very bequeathed. I apologize that they never arrived. Blue is ashamed. Two words, Blue. The stable hands were taking lunch. Okay, we're approaching the pitchfork. As soon as we get down here, Blue's gonna have to stop, sadly. And yes, I'll either decide to finish it myself, or we'll get back to it in a few weeks, maybe. I don't know. I just feel I've subjected you to this story enough. I really do have to work a little harder trying to figure out the best way to make the audiobook short story streams. It's just, Blue knows nothing about making videos. She's been fiddling around with it, but just can't figure out the best way to do things. Oh yeah, we gotta get back into Neopets. I would like to play more Neopets. I would very much, but I haven't looked into it since the last time I played. So my Jub is probably starving. I wanted to try to raise a bit of money before I played again, just so we could do some shopping, because that was the most fun I had doing it, because I'm terrible at the games. But yes, I will do my best to at one point fill my bank account in Neopets, and then we can have some more fun maybe. Oh, and I figured out how to make browser sounds work on the stream, so we'll be able to hear the game music this time, and you know, the ads. Bleh. I suppose we already know the stable hands are taking lunch. We don't really need to repeat it, do we? it's not. I suppose it's just harkening back to, yeah, he was once okay, but if you just indicate what the want eyes are instead. That might work, except I am currently using British Australian English. Okay, we're up to the first pitchfork paragraph. You just have a quick. Oh goodness me, there's so much left. Yeah, let's just get here, and then we will call it a night. Ow! Did you hear my back crack then? Because I definitely felt it. Oh, and again, and again. Blue is falling apart. Blue is falling apart. Sweet Mokosh, what is going on? What is going on? You mean my back cracking or blue falling apart? Yeah, that's happening. We're getting to the end. How much will be left after today? Yeah, well, we've got the whole pitchfork scene, don't we? A lot of it is dialogue, so possibly it looks longer than it actually is. And you know, in general, I think I'm fairly happy with the content here. It's just getting it to sound better. I don't think I'll be changing or adding much. Just waiver, I think. 5 left, maybe 3. I think it's will to waver, but will to for will to succumb to some level of his illness which will cause the young man to notice him. So we know he's very weak. I'm not sure how much other pain or discomfort or symptoms he's exhibiting at this point. So it's primarily weakness. So, yes, I think it's most likely that he just sort of winds up resting more heavily against the tires, which sort of knocks them slightly askew. I have to watch VODs. You are also welcome to watch the VODs if you think you will enjoy them. I hope you will. It's, more of this. Hi, Elfie! Hi, Elfie. We've made it to the paragraph that first mentions pitchforks. And once I fix it up, I'm going to have to stop because I'm very tired. But we will try to get this paragraph quite good. Please catch me up on. Okay, let's go back and we'll read through what we've done today. Here we are. This is where we got up to, the stupid clock time pun. So, yeah, let's just read from here. The patio soon bustled with the estate's 20-odd lunch guests, the polo players and spectators descending upon the platters as though they hadn't all indulged in scones with clotted cream and crumbled chocolate flakes on that same patio not 2 hours previously. Will sipped at his soup with James's encouragement, listening to his friend's boisterous chatter about the horse races and news from the warfront, cheerfully swapping names of enemy towns obliterated by their own bombers. Will's unspoken discomfort at this casual making light of death and destruction was interrupted by the arrival of his doctor. His friends, their hunger sufficiently satiated, took that as a signal to disperse, promising to visit soon. Visit again soon. Don't worry, old chap. James patted Will on the back in an imitation of a friendly thump. Not just an imitation, that makes it sound cheap, but maybe a friendly imitation of a thump. He'll be back in the saddle and forcing tactical plays on us before you know it. Will played the obedient patient, swallowing his tincture. That's the one we're going with at the moment. But I may wind up going back to medicine or medication, but I like this word a lot, so keeping it there for now. And enduring his daily checkup. When his doctor entered the manor to sit down with his parents... Oh, let's just make it a bit more ominous. Or talk. Will held his breath, listening. This still doesn't sound quite right, but... that'll do. For now. Not one footstep met his ears. Met's probably not the right word, but... Lottie and the stable hands, 2 words, must be taking their meal in the kitchen with the rest of the staff. Shooting a furtive glance in all accessible directions, Will tied a napkin around the tip of his cane and, so slowly, levered his diminished form into a position passing for vertical. With measured steps, the clacks of his cane muted on the wooden patio and cobblestone paths, Will made the short journey to the stables. He'd be back in the saddle soon, James had said, not knowing how right he was. Will was through with being ill. A 10-minute ride, that was all he wanted. For 10 glorious minutes, Will would be normal again. By the time he stumbled through the stable doors, his entire body trembled. His knees half giving way, Will fell against the wall, but he fell no further. Will was stubborn. He hadn't known how stubborn he was until he fell ill. Ignoring the sense his parents and doctors' combined efforts entirely failed to make him see, Will pushed himself off the wall and pushed on with his plan. Hobbling to his mare's stall, Will petted the gentle beast's warm nose. Good girl, good girl. Pressing his forehead against hers, Will breathed in her comforting scent before fishing half an apple from his pocket. The fruit fast crunched out of existence. As Will wiped the juice from his fingers, he heard something. Not a nicker or a neigh. A sound that didn't belong in the stables. Was someone crying? Will frowned. Curious, he took his cane and followed the sound, limping towards the back of the stables and a stack of massive worn tyres, his favourite horse-jumping obstacle. Another sob broke from behind the sturdy stack. Resting against the tyres, Will peered behind them. A young man huddled in the narrow space between the stack and the wall, hauling deep, wet sniffs through his nose. He didn't notice his sudden company straight away. Oh, he couldn't hear any steps could work. Okay, let's go back. Let's try that. Footsteps. Yes, that seems a little more. Will seems a reasonably straightforward sort of person, so I think that could work quite well, thank you. It took only seconds for Will to waver. I'm just not sure he would be able to actually push these tyres at all, even if he completely collapsed against them, because they're really heavy. Maybe it's more the sound of his breathing is heavier because he's weakening. Maybe he waves and almost falls and sort of gasps as he catches himself properly against the tyres. We did it. We reached Pitchfork. Finally. Okay. Yes, I may come back to this on stream in a couple of weeks. I have not yet decided whether to finish it myself or to finish it with you. It's probably better to finish it with you, but again, I know I am going broken record, but I'm just concerned I have subjected you to this story for too many streams already. Goodness me. Writing short stories shouldn't take so long. Oh, goodness me. Excuse me. You don't behave as tired as you did last stream. Am I correct, or are you just not displaying it as much today? I'm unsure. I'm unsure. I got a little more sleep last night than I usually do. So maybe that's showing through. Also, I suppose these sort of writing streams are a bit more engaging engaging for me, and takes more sort of, thinking than games like Banished do. So maybe when I'm playing a game like Banished, I just tend to drift or float a bit more. Whereas that's not really possible here, because if I drift or float, absolutely nothing gets done. Dear. Yes, so next stream is Saturdays, which will be our next brainstorming stream. And as you may have seen, the topic is, what if beauty could actually steal your breath away? And I already have the waiting room up for that. And in the description, I think I went into a couple of thoughts for some sections we could think about for that. Ooh, yay, brainstorming. And yes, I think I put in the description a potential date for the next reading stream after that. It wouldn't be for a little while. It wouldn't be until the beginning of May, because I am away for the second half of April on family trip. So I don't even know if I'm going to be bringing a laptop. There might just be not enough room. If I can, I will, because there may be moments I can, get some writing done. But of course, shall have fun. But, don't know how much I'll be using it for any blue-related things, given I'm terrible at social media. Would any of you enjoy Blue trying to use social media more, or you're pretty much just happy with streams? Oh, I can't wait. Sorry for starting early. I just couldn't keep my ideas bottled. No, go for it. Go for it. I'm glad just the topic is inspiring. Oh, Blue did say she slept nice today too, if I remember correctly. I did. You are remembering correctly. But yes, probably won't do the reading stream for this brainstorming until, I think I said the 6th of May, which will be my first stream back after I'm away. And what will be my last stream before I go? Just let me have a look. So my last stream before I go will probably be the 8th of April. That's not too far away, is it? Not too far away. So I've got 3 Monday streams before then, I think. This coming one, which will be my collab with a My Goodie. I'm getting a little anxious about that, given I, and by I mean we, have to play archaeologists and figure out the festival that she has put together for us. But then I'm going to be trying to pull together ideas for a story plan, as in, a novel plan, on the fly. It will not be nearly as well thought out or organized as a My Goodie's wonderful novel plan for the festival that I gave her. But, I don't know. It'll be interesting, at least. Oh, do what she feels most comfortable for you. Yes. It seems I've already written 1,200 words. That is amazing, which really scares me because I'm halfway through writing the catalyst. You go for it. If you write it, I will read it. Just, I'm sure everyone will write according to the one semi-rule that I've got going, which is just, don't go into detail with things that could upset people or make them particularly uncomfortable, like, gore or sex or horrific abuse. Just, if it can be hinted at, hint at it, or if it needs hinting at, do hint at it, but try to write around it, maybe. Write around it if you could. I don't want to, censor anyone. But yes, remember, Blue will be reading it aloud and people will be listening. So, yeah, let's just do our best to be considerate in the way of, triggering topics and such. Oh, no sleep on Monday. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I can't wait for that. It'll work, I promise. Good to know uni starts in the afternoon on Mondays. I am so sorry I'm putting some of you out. I wish there was a time I could stream that was good for everyone, including Blue. Oh, dearie me. But we'll see how this works anyway. And so, after the collab stream on Monday, probably the Monday after that will be mostly a chatting stream talking about why the change in schedule and other such things. And whatever else comes to mind. I just go to sleep early on Sundays. As long as it works. As long as you can fall asleep early. Blue has difficulty falling asleep early. Blue usually can't, fall asleep until at least 1 a.m. Usually later. Oh, dearie me. So that'll be the next Monday. And we can figure out something fun to do for my last stream before going away. And then the one after that will be the reading stream for the brainstorming. I can't wake late. Oh, that would be useful. I used to be a morning person, but that's just gone. Or I suppose honestly I don't know if I really was a morning person or I just, made sure I was because I kind of had to be or felt like I had to be. Oh, another lovely like. Thank you so much. 6 o'clock no matter what. That does sound very useful. It does. Unless you only went to bed at 4 in the morning for whatever reason. That does not sound useful. Yes. Well, let's have a think about the what the last stream before I go away could be. So that'll be the 8th of April, and then I won't be back again until the 6th. Goodness me, that's a long break. Sorry about that, because we're leaving on the... It just happens that we're leaving on the 13th. I would consider doing another stream close to them, but I'm going to be pretty occupied, I think, getting myself and the small one all packed up and everything organised. Oh, I only went to sleep at 4 one time. That sounds reasonably wise. Yeah, but I'll have a think about what we could do. I mean, we could always, try to finish the pitchfork story. I don't know, I'd still love to try to figure out a way to play some sort of story games with you all. But the one I was looking at, it needs sort of 2 people with access to the cards, so it doesn't really work. So maybe we can try to invent, storytelling games that we can play or something. We could still possibly use the cards from that game. Oh, I'll think about it. Still time to think about it. Still time to think about it. And if I can't think of anything, we're back to the pitchfork story. Sorry, you have to suffer because Blue can't think. Okay, well, it is now midnight for me. Game dev. I can't game dev. I cannot game dev. Blue knows nothing of game dev. Don't mind learning how to code. That might be too much for Blue. Too much. So it'd be fun to try to, write a visual novel one time. And I think there's software out there that can be used for that. But, in general, Blue prefers to write novels as opposed to visual novels. Oh dear. But yes. Don't worry, you already know how to air fry. Yes, I did make use of the air fryer today. I cooked some chicken tendies. I do love some chicken tendies. Well, it is Zoo Lovers Day on April 8th. Maybe talk about fantasy animals then. That's a good idea. Let me write that down with my pen and paper, despite the fact that I have a computer on in front of me. Zoo Appreciation Day. Fantasy animals. try using Scratch if you are a complete newbie to game dev. Okay, Scratch. I am a complete newbie. I know nothing. Scratch. Game dev. And you know who else would have liked chickens? The villagers. I know. They will now be without chickens, without any livestock until we can get back to that town and try to sort it out. But, you know, I don't think any amount of intervention will sort out New Isengard. It's a bit of a lost cause, isn't it? Chickens would have helped. Oh dear, I'll think about what we could do for a fantasy animals stream and how that could, what form that could take. Shall think about it, yes. In any case, thank you so much for writing with me, and I'm glad we finally at least got to the word pitchfork. That's helpful. Or RPG Maker, that's how I learned how to game dev RPG Maker in some Commodore 64. Ooh, inventing fantasy animals. That could be fun. I was thinking that at one point I would love to do a monster creation stream, because there are a lot of monsters in my main magical project, and each one has to be different. And I've been worrying that mine are getting a little boring, maybe. As you know, I look at random pictures of some D&D monsters and I'm like, wow, Blue would love to invent things like that. Hello, something I don't know. Hello. To tell you the truth, we are just finishing up. We're just chatting about a potential stream on fantasy animals. Oh, I tried making monsters twice. Monster making, it is fun. But when I was coming up with them for the main magical project, most of the case I was sort of writing in a bit of a frenzy, and it was just whatever came to mind at the time. And so most of them are very heavily sort of animal based, which is fine, but it's just too much sort of based on one animal, and it's just not interesting or mind-bending enough. I always join at the wrong time. Well, remember, streams will be changing to, Mondays for me, Mondays during the morning, which for US people will be the Sunday afternoon, evening. And Europe, it's a terrible time. I'm so sorry, Europe. But yes, we do have the Saturday brainstorming stream at this time again, but this coming Monday, I'll be starting streaming during the morning for me, which again is afternoon, evening the day before for US people. I will hopefully post, upcoming stream notice sometime tomorrow or Saturday, which I'll include as many time zones as I can. Dinner with Blue stream, cool. Yay. But yes, I'll try to be considerate when it comes to time zones. We'll be streaming at 2 a.m. here in Europe. I'm so sorry. Hopefully at least that might change slightly, because I'll be by the time the 8th of April stream comes along, my time zone will have changed to standard time, which means I jump backwards an hour, which hopefully works slightly in your favor. I hope. We'll see. Oh goodness me, I'm going to have to finish that bag of potato chips before going to bed, aren't I? Blue is hungry, and Blue is not prepared to do any sort of food prep whatsoever. 1 a.m. At least slightly earlier. Very, very slightly. But, yes, I believe the shift in time zones is on the 7th. Pretty sure it's on the 7th. Oh dear. I'm so sorry. More lovely people are coming right about now. And I'm just going into finishing. I'm so sorry. You are all so welcome here, and I'm sorry it's a bad time for so many of you, and I should probably stop apologizing, because I've apologized a lot. And there's nothing I can do about time zones, but I still feel bad. Oh, daylight time changing is also a thing in the silly heart, you're hiding it. In the EU, unfortunately. Okay, I am watching on the moon. How will this affect me? Oh dear. Oh dear. On the moon. On the moon. I am sorry, I am unaware of moon time zones. Does the moon spin on an axis? I don't think it does. I think the same face is always pointing towards Earth, isn't it? I don't think the moon spins. From roughly 2 hours of sleep after the stream to 3. Oh, no. No moon spin. I thought that was right. I thought that was right, but Blue must confirm these things. She is a library. If she gets these things wrong, it will be quite embarrassing. However, Australia will be changing to winter time. In Europe, it will be summertime. Yeah. I wonder if my fire's still going. I didn't pop out. I should have. It's locked. Moonlocked. Moonlocked. Sounds like almost an interesting title of something. Moonlocked. Actually, it sounds sort of like a, young adult fantasy romance. Moonlocked. Therefore, it is something Blue will probably not write. Blue does not write predominantly romances. Romance pops up. Romance does pop up, but it is never the main storyline. Someone trapped on the moon. Oh, that would make it more interesting. Yes, if it's an escape, sort of like, along the lines of The Martian. Trapped on moon. What do? How survive? Ooh, may I ask what is the time for you? Right now, it is 12:39 a.m. What? The moon has an atmosphere. Ooh, it's not much of one though, is it? Dear Pyram, forgotten about the fireplace. That's why there's the dark side of the moon, indeed. Moon phases. Phases. I'm just going to run out quickly to see if the fire's still going. I'll be right back. Just. If I throw a few more logs on it when I finish, I will resuscitate it. Then I'll wind up sitting by the fire for a while instead of going to bed. I put water on the fire. Don't put water on my fire. I wish to save it. I wish to save it and then savor it. With chips. Meaning potato chips. Should have a fire cam. Ooh, that would be nice. That would be nice. That may be possible at one point because, this house is going to have some renovations done at one point in the next year, hopefully. Let out of focus frame look creepy. Paste. But yes, after the renovations, it may turn out that the only place I can have my desk and such is in the living room, which is where the fireplace is. So that could work. That could work. I'm in your walls. What are you doing there? It's unsanitary. And there's spiders. You should come out of there. Oh no, not a good place to make your home. Yes, avoid the spiders. Avoid them. There's mold. The spiders are cool though. As long as you're making friends with the spiders. I did tell you the other day about the one I found. It was as big as my hand. Thankfully it was on the other side of the window. Oh dear. But there is mold. You are correct about that. We must do something about that. You now know they are in Australia. Indeed. Indeed. Just can't look in any corner in my house without there being a spider. For goodness sake. Dearie me. Oh, lovely chatting. Lovely chatting. But I think I've done all the sort of wrapping up and reminder things I'm supposed to do. Talking about streams and oh, that's right, I need to think about fantasy animals. So maybe we can go over some fantasy animals and then invent a few. It probably won't be monster creation stream. We'll look at that at another point because Blue does need help with that. She's concerned about her monsters. And even though most of the ones in the first 5 books or so are sort of already done and I've got battle scenes with them, you know, I'll be writing more. I'll need more monsters. More monsters. The mold is actually ectoplasm. Ooh. Fancy ecosystem investing. Psychoactive ectoplasm and the spirit goo. Oh yes. This household, this family, big fans of Ghostbusters. Don't think I'll be able to see the new one in the cinema, but hopefully it won't take too long to be streamed. It'll be fun. I think one of my siblings saw it today, and they are a big fan and they very much enjoyed. Because big fans, we can enjoy things for what they are, even if they are not brilliant. Ghostbusters, indeed, that is precisely what I said. Oh dear, need to use that idea. Go for it. Go for it. Oh dear, Blue is just getting more and more drifty. And I still feel bad about not getting more done. I suppose we got more done eventually. It just took me so long on that first paragraph we worked on, didn't it? Ghost beer? Ooh, ghost beer. Oh, what was that random thought for a story I had the other day during stream? It was really interesting. And I had that moment where it was so interesting, I was sure I wouldn't forget it, so I didn't write anything down, but now I've definitely forgotten it. Beer made out of ghosts. Pale ale. Oh dear, if anyone could remember. I mean, I suppose I could go into the previous VOD and try to find it myself. But actually, you know, in the long run it's probably better that I've forgotten. I've got enough ideas. You know, pale. Oh yes. Oh yes. Alcohol. Literally spirits. Oh dear. It does sound like a sort of interesting concept for a short story, just actually serving spirits, literal spirits, as refreshments. But what happens when you sort of swallow them? What's the sort of experience, and what happens once it's settled? Do they just sort of come out again and go into the next person's glass? Oh, I presume ectoplasm is already fermented. To some extent, I'd imagine. To some extent. Might need a little more time just to get nice and ghosty. Yes, I will serve ghost children alcohol. Do not serve any children alcohol. I'm sorry, ghosty children. I'm sorry, ghosty children. But no, it is irresponsible of us to offer it to you, not for you to drink it, although that is also irresponsible, but you are ghosty children, and therefore, you know. Yeah. Irresponsible. You obtain the ghost's memories instead of getting drunk. That's a good one. And so does consuming the ghost sort of make it... Do you sort of subsume it completely and it just... Do you get any nutrients from it? Any good things? Ooh, I think it's more likely it would do weird things to you. But maybe people do it anyway to obtain specific memories and such. You merge for a while. Oh dear. Oh dear. Fusion. Fusion. Sorry, we've been chatting all this time. I probably should have tried to do a bit more work, but it's been lovely chatting. That births so many ideas. How do you sign up to become a drinkable ghost? Why would you want to do it? What does it bring to your afterlife? So many ideas. Oh, no benefits that isn't hydration. Third brainstorming stream idea, I presume. I thought we had a random one, wasn't it? Inconvenient curses. That's the idea I had. The witch sort of on probation for doing 2 terrible curses, and now she can only do sort of mildly inconvenient curses. Drop my pen. But yes, the ghost drinks. That should be the one after that, maybe. So 3 equals mildly inconvenient curses, and 4 drinkable spirits slash ghosts. Ghosts first. Drinkable ghosts slash spirits. So I think we're good for brainstorming ideas for now. That's a good idea. So how does it work in a tavern? Is there a case where everyone is just kept to perform debauchery so the breweries can farm? Oh, goodness me. I curse you with rapid growing toenails. Drink them and you experience the same memories. Oh, goodness me. That's a lot, isn't it? It is a lot. So, hoard your ideas. Hoard your ideas for this and hang on to them. Because, goodness me, this stream probably won't be till the middle of the year. It just takes that long now. Oh dear, I guess you harvest the ghost when it possesses someone. Oh. I have a feeling Blue is going to be mostly a scribe for this one. You've all got such fantastic ideas. Hope the ghost hasn't got PTSD. That could be unpleasant. It could be the curse of hitting your toe at every full hour. Yes. Well, probably need to, for the inconvenient curses one, maybe need to think of some more things around the curses as well. I mean, it'll be fun to just think of all these ridiculously inconvenient curses, but maybe, you know, could think of some ways to sort of work them into some random storylines and such. Because otherwise we're just going to be giggling over silly curse ideas the whole time. Oh, hello Nakomi. Blue, have you seen my lemon? Maybe I dropped it somewhere. Please help me. I am so sorry. I have seen no lemons here. There are no lemons in my kitchen. There are no lemons on my trees. Only stone fruit. And apples. But all the apples have been pecked by birds. I think it all started from mold. Someone hiding in the walls. Indeed, it is wonderful, all of these ideas. I'm so sorry about the lemons again. I see no lemons. I see no lemons. You may have dropped them in a different stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope you find them. I do. Oh, another lovely like. I missed when it came in. Thank you so much to the person who gave the lovely like. Oh dear. So, I am just going to have to collect ideas for the brainstorming streams from chat, because I was starting to panic that none of my ideas sounded any good. But why does Blue have to worry about that? Chat has brilliant ideas that Blue can steal and use for content. But at least it's, you know, all of us together, so it's not stealing as such, really. Ooh, we can go further back. It all started from the gas telekinesis. Indeed. Curse idea. You can't get rid of Cheeto dust ever. Yes, it's teamwork. You are right. You are right. And we will write. Oh, Blue should probably try to write her own story properly from the brainstorming stream, shouldn't she? It's amazing, given I'm a writing VTuber, how reluctant I am to actually write. Worst nightmare. Oh, but your hair is like a lemon. It seems to be missing lemon. You want my hair? You aren't going to consume it, are you? That might be a little too much for Blue to handle. As long as you aren't planning on consuming it. I suppose you could try wringing it to see if you could get any juice out of it, but that might be a losing battle. How are you, by the way? I'm definitely here. That's generally a good place to be. And having lovely chats with chat. Do like having lovely chats with chat. Oh dear. And yes, I think I am slightly less tired than I've been of late, so that is good. Chat farming. Indeed, chat farming. Isn't your hair just the hair of your human skin? Technically. Glad to hear that. Yes, been feeling a little bit better. Still, I don't think Blue's been at 100% since she was about 11 or 12, but, you know, approaching that solid 80 again from probably hovering around 30 to 50 for the last few months now. Oh, dearie me. make Blue uncomfortable. Why are you going to make Blue uncomfortable? That is not something you have to do. That is not a necessary thing, is it? I don't see how much enjoyment anyone will get out of that. Namely, Blue. Blue will not get any enjoyment out of being made uncomfortable. Because it's fun. I'm happy with being flustered. I'm happy with being made fun of. But being purposely made uncomfortable is a little much, maybe. We can extend your thought, Elfie. We're all jelly octopi riding bone meat metal cubes. Yeah, that sounds like us. Maybe one time we should just do a brainstorming stream on Blue's lore and what the actual flippity fleck is happening with that. We will see. We will see. Why does autocorrect hate me? Autocorrect doesn't seem to be a fan of anyone, to be honest. Dear. Oh wow, 11 people. I think that's the most I've had at one time almost ever. Hello, lovelies. Storming stream. I have brain. Indeed. It feels personal. It feels autocorrect's has a particular vendetta against you that it doesn't have against anyone else. I suppose we all are our own protagonists. But I have a feeling only certain people experience protagonist syndrome. Well, I suppose maybe everyone does at certain times in their lives. That just reminds me again of the story I was writing for NaNoWriMo last year. Brain cell storming singular. Gotta go now, don't want to miss the afternoon lecture. Have a nice time, everyone. Can't wait for Saturday. Bye bye, Ashley. It's been lovely, lovely, lovely to have you. So lovely. And Blue probably should have finished at least half an hour ago. So I should wrap it up, sorry. Where are my lyrics? Where are my lyrics? Where are they? The parting glass lyrics. There they are. Okay. So thank you for writing with me, even though I didn't get nearly as much done as I would have hoped. We'll either have another go at this thing in a couple of weeks, or Blue will just try to pull it together herself, and we'll eventually make an audiobook story out of it. So it might be you have to wait for that to see what happens, and if so, I'm so sorry. Well, you already know what happens. You saw the whole original version in the first stream, but you know, the finished version. Oh, where can I get brain cells? I am not sure where sells brain cells at this particular hour. It may be a little late to get the brain cells at the moment. Oh, the thing is that autocorrect changes my right to the most inappropriate thing possible, but only in your chat. It's okay. It's okay. Blue does not mind. Autocorrect will not turn Blue against you, I promise. Oh dear. Gotta sleep. Well, gotta eat potato chips in front of the fire. Then I gotta sleep. So, thank you again. Shall see you on Saturday. It's been absolutely lovely. Glad we've had so many ideas for... Oh, question mark. I just mean you saying that autocorrect is making you say the most inappropriate thing, but only in my chat. As though autocorrect is attempting to turn me against you or something. That was how Blue interpreted it anyway. Sorry if I confused you. Blue can do that sometimes. Particularly to herself. Blue is very good at confusing herself. Oh no, more question marks. More question marks. Correct interpretation. I'm glad, yay. Okay, how many okays has it been now? So many. So many. So, yes, I might have to remember to jump back to this VOD at one point and go through the live chat to grab everyone's ideas so they're all there ready for brainstorming streams. So Blue will try to think to do that. Blue will try to. But if she doesn't, apologies in advance. As we all know, blue is never on top of anything. Wow, I wrote a whole message with only words of Latin origin. Yay, well done. Well done. And. That'll be it for this stream. That's it. Should have finished a while ago. But ending now. And wherever you are in the world, good night to you, or good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning. And I hope the rest of your day, I'm staving off a yawn. Sorry. Sleep. Are we like children to you? I don't think so. Bye-bye. Hope the rest of your day is absolutely lovely, because that's what you deserve. Oh dear. Let's sing goodbye. Oh, for the money that here I had, I have spent it in good company. Oh, and all the harm I've ever done. Let me turn off the background music because I keep forgetting to do that. Alas, it was to none but me, and all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night, and joy be to you all. Oh, good stream, good stream. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Everyone encouraged Blue to sleep. I will sleep. I will sleep, I promise. After potato chips and fire. Ooh, nice voice. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do love to sing. I do love to sing. I will hopefully do some karaoke at one point, but it may not be for a while. We will see. And until next time. Until next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.